warum sich zu Millionen hier vereinigen, um einmal symbolisch zum Ausdruck bringen, dass wir nicht sind Stadt und Land, nicht sind Arbeiter, Angestellte, Handwerker, Bauern, Studenten, Bürger, nicht sind irgendwelche Anhänger irgendwelcher Weltanschauungen, sondern dass wir sind Angehörige eines Volkes.
The Holocaust is a tragic event that occurred in Europe through 1941 and 1945. The executions of more than 6 million European Jews, as well as gypsies and homosexuals, were carried out in concentration camps such as Auschwitz in Poland.
Auschwitz really was hell. We were on the last but one transport to Auschwitz, the last transport where all the prominents in Terezin who went straight into the gas chamber. There were about 50 of us in a kettle truck with a bucket, that was it. We arrived in the middle of the night, and in Auschwitz you could smell the fear.
Under the leadership of Adolf Hitler, these people were not free to live their lives like other Germans. The manipulation and false aspiration given to these groups of people made it easier to lure them in. The Germans often told the Jews that they were going to a place that had more opportunities and an overall better situation than in. This is why so many Jews went to these camps. Others were forced where most were killed. These camps contained up to 1.3 million people over the course of 5 years. Many were sent because they did not fit the ideal persona of the perfect German citizen, and others were sent for hiding and protecting these people. The camps had horrible living conditions plus excruciating physical labor. The Jews were starving, and most of them had diseases such as anorexia, malaria, pemphigitis, and typhus. These diseases, along with starvation sicknesses, usually came along with bloody diarrhea, memory loss, and exhaustion to the point of passing out.
Food ration that you received was a single loaf of bread, a watery cabbage soup, intentionally non-nutritional. That was your total food for the week. As far as I was concerned, I had an escape mechanism from that level of starvation by stealing food as much as I could.
Even before concentration camps began, the Jews were treated poorly by Nazis and German civilians. The Jews were forced to wear yellow stars at all times for identification purposes. Even though the acts of the Nazis were to a different standard of cruel, the concept of wearing stars was not new. In earlier data civilizations, the Jews were required to wear stars so that they'd be humiliated and separate them in a line of segregation. This has not only made it easier for Jews to get attacked, but also for identification of expulsion. The Nazis often tormented the Jews and disrespected their culture by burning their books publicly and holding of anti-Jew protests. There was destruction of buildings and businesses to scare the Jews, making them fear their lives. Many Jews were killed and left out in the open communities to show examples of what the Soviet soldiers would do to them. Even the police were against them, which led many to believe that they were completely alone. In camps, some Jews felt like there was no way out and decided to kill themselves. Families split apart, torture, starvation, hatred, murder, tragedy. These are all just a few words to describe these gruesome events. President Ronald Reagan had a memorial held for the people who were the victims in the Holocaust. He stood up for the Jews and dragged out the point that the actions of the United Nations and the Soviet Union towards the Jews were intolerable acts of hatred.
We have been so eloquently told here for a solemn, profound, saddening, and yet triumphant occasion. It's an occasion that commemorates all we've lost, the irreplaceable humanity whose monstrous end will ever testify to the hellish depths of human evil. But it's an occasion that commemorates something else as well. It commemorates the seriousness of our intention as human beings, as Americans, and in the case of many here today, as Jews, to keep the memory of the 6 million fresh and enduring. We who did not go their way owe them this. We must make sure their deaths have posthumous meaning.
This idea originated from President Jimmy Carter. He established this plan on November 1st, 1978. To get an understanding of what the memorial should have included, Carter gathered a commission of 34 people, which consisted of Holocaust survivors, religious leaders, group historians, students, and members of Congress. The group got more information from sites where these events took place and visited the memorial grounds in Europe. The population of Jews before the Holocaust was around 16.6 million people. When the Holocaust occurred, around 6 million Jews were killed. In less than 10 years, the population of the Jews declined more than 1/3. The survivors of this event expanded and moved out around the world, dominating populations in America and Israel. There was approximately 4 million Jews in the United States in the year of 1927. This is to whereas in 2015 the population has increased to a whopping 7 people. The Jewish population has become a part of America's evolution over the years. Jewish have found a way to better their lives and start over. They are able to worship as they please without being punished. Jobs are not biased, which allows them to have better business opportunities as well. In 2015, there was a documentation of Europe's Jewish population which showed that people went from 9.5 million to now 1.4. It is proven that America today has more than 4 million Jews than Europe. If it weren't for the help of many American soldiers and the overcoming of cruelty that was shown against them, there wouldn't have been more than 1 million Jews alive after the Holocaust ended. The many Jews that passed away can never get their lives back. For the survivors of the Holocaust, the death of their loved ones only encouraged them to protest and make change in their community. There are many synagogues in the United States that have occupancies up to 4,000 congregants. Many of the missionaries go out and do outreach work to heal and spread positivity. This has made other countries such as America, Argentina, and Brazil more aware of these inhuman acts. Now kids all over the world learn about these events. The Holocaust is a basic lesson that teaches simple yet high-minded principles that should be used instead of discriminating against others as done so in occurrence. It is also seen as one of the most important lessons to students as it relates to examination and depiction of being responsible as a citizen. The students are able to come to a realization that the law of civil rights in any country has been violated heavily, but still continue to unintentionally be supported through these issues. The diversity and acceptance that America has is a prime example of what students can identify as an opposite compared to Europe at this time. There is many powers that have been abused as well as roles that have played a part in it.
Stares this evil in the face, that all humankind knows what this evil looks like and how it came to be. And when we truly know it for what it was, then and only then can we be sure that it will never come again. Some people say evil of this degree is incomprehensible. They say we will never understand it. Some people even say that the word evil is insufficient to describe the Holocaust, and instead they use terms like mad, crazy, insane. I think they're wrong. What we saw there at Treblinka and Belsen and Auschwitz and Dachau was the image of the inferno. That may have been the ultimate purpose of those who made the Holocaust, a grotesque effort.
During the Holocaust, there were many family divides which triggered many to become distressed over their loved ones. After it ended, more than 100,000 people had found and reunited with friends and families. Even though there is no excuse for these intolerable acts of evil towards the Jews, they have evolved and prospered since these events.